Hey guys, it's Becky and today I'm going to be reviewing Raw by Cora Carmack. Raw is a YA fantasy and I received it in my fairy loot box about November last year. It takes place in a land that is controlled and terrorized by violent magical storms. The only people that can control storms are the Stormlings, who are the monarchy across the kingdoms. In Pavan, Aurora has been groomed to become the next queen, but unfortunately she hasn't found her magic yet, and so she needs a different plan to try and keep her kingdom safe. The prince that is chosen for the alliance to keep her kingdom safe turns out to be manipulative, and after she spies on him and he finds out there's a black market in her city, she finds out that there's people who aren't born with magic who then have it. This means there's now an extra option for her to go with to keep her kingdom safe by going to find magic herself. Aurora soon leaves with the hunters that she meets in the black market and learns about how to wield storm magic. As soon as I started reading this book, I knew I was going to love the world that it was set in. There was loads of world building and Aurora was going on a kind of a road trip kind of adventure as she learns about herself, her powers and other people and the land. As Aurora has been in Pavan her whole life, we get to see all of these new things through her eyes, which makes it just as intriguing as if we were looking through it from our own. We get loads of information about the storms and what they do and how they terrorize people. And we also have a really good grasp of the magic system. There's a lot that's been fleshed out within the first book to explain how and why things happen, which is really interesting. Even though I fell in love at the first chapter, I did get annoyed with multiple things throughout the book. The first one was that the prince at the beginning of the book was set up to be a love interest, as Aurora was very naive as she has been locked away in her palace for years. Obviously, as the synopsis says, the prince does turn out to be a bad guy, but then this happens again later on. He finds another love interest and he's not the greatest, and because she's so naive, she doesn't really understand that the way she's treated doesn't actually mean it's a good thing. The reason why I really didn't like this love interest either is because he starts off by saying that Aurora reminds him of his sister who has died, which means that he's kind of replacing his sister with this other girl who he needs to protect. He's extremely possessive about her from that point onwards. He doesn't want her to do anything to put herself in danger, even though the other crew members are. There's multiple times where he grabs her or he yells at her or he's very aggressive towards her, and even when she tells him not to touch her, he still goes ahead and does this anyway. Also, kissing a girl when she's angry is not romantic in any way, and we really need to stop writing this in books because it's just a really bad way to explain to teenagers that that's how things should happen when it should not happen like that. Strangely enough, my favourite character wasn't actually one of the main characters we see. I really loved Nova, who was a servant in the palace from the beginning. She was friends with Aurora when they were growing up, but then because Aurora had never found her magic, they were split apart. I loved that we got a little bit of a backstory and motivations with her, and that she was completely faithful to Aurora even though they maybe weren't the best of friends at this point in time. I really hope that in the second book this very strong female character continues, and that when Aurora returns to Pavan or comes into contact with Nova again, she's just as faithful back towards her friend, as she really deserves the respect of Aurora after what she's gone through. The majority of the book is spent on a training montage for Raw to become a better hunter. Of course, this is in between her lovely eyes towards Locke, but that seems to be a very long and tedious part of the book and right in the centre. I completely understand the need for her to develop skills and to grow as a person, but I also think that this could have been shortened a lot more than it was. For example, we go running with Locke multiple times as part of her training, but we only spend one day with Jinx and her training about magic. So I personally think that we could have just shortened a bit because it seemed to be more of a push towards having a romantic subplot in when it probably didn't need to be there. Also, a lot of the training just seemed to be Locke was chasing around after Aurora, which seemed to be very similar to how their romance as a whole went. So overall, Again, the romance is always the aspect that I do not like if it's not well written. And so I did not like it in this book at all. The ending did really make me want to read the next book because it was left very open-ended and I really want to know what happens. But I do highly doubt it's going to be on the top of my to-be-read pile because I'm worried that it's going to continue in the slow, tedious romance subplot in the centre of the book, and it's only going to pick up at the beginning and the end. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you again.